Hello, everyone. We are back for another Let's Talk Offshoring series right here at BSA Solutions. My name is Nico, and today our guest is one of our clients from BDL. Please help me welcome Ms. Jenny Wang.
Hello, everyone. How are you?
Jenny, let's talk about yourself and maybe have a little intro about you, and let's talk a little bit about the company as well.
Absolutely. So my name's Jenny. I'm a director of Berrigan Doube Lawyers. Berrigan Doube Lawyers is a law firm in Australia. We have been practicing since 1927.
Wow.
So quite a long time.
Quite a long time.
And we have offices in Melbourne, Sydney and Brisbane. And I'm one of the principals. I'm one of the directors there. And I myself, I'm also a practicing lawyer, but I have the added responsibility of also looking after the staffing and managing the operations of the firm.
So you're one of those bosses that wear tons of hats.
Absolutely.
Like every day.
Absolutely. That's exactly right. And I think a lot of businesses out there experience exactly the same thing. You need to be good at what you do. And what we do is practice law. But at the same time, when you run a business, you're not only a career person, but you also have to deal with all of the little bits and pieces that go into running a business.
True. Now, first question. Let's talk about, since we're talking about offshoring, what were the core reasons that led you to decide to offshore the business?
Well, we do run a very serious type of business. So it's the type of business which we require staff to be trained very well, and everybody needs to pay great attention to detail. Because we're dealing with people's lives, very, very serious aspects of people's lives. And so the law firm has always had a balance between fee earners, the lawyers, and the admin staff. And so we've had a lot of difficulty with our admin staff in the past. Our fee earners are always good, lawyers are always good, very competitive, very hardworking. But the admin staff, for me, has been a very big problem. We've had a turnover of staff in the past. We've had people who don't get along. We've also had people who just want to change because they want to change. No reason. They're not unhappy. They just want to change. And so that led me to exploring different and more creative solutions.
What's interesting is the Philippines, especially this company, is just a dot in the matrix. So how did you hear about BSA Solutions?
That's a very good question. Now, I actually heard about BSA through my brother-in-law. So my brother-in-law is an accountant, and in the past, he was the team leader for an accounting firm who ran superannuation-type businesses. And he managed a team in the Philippines of about 30 staff. So his role was to come to the Philippines and do training, and then also to help recruit and to manage these accountants who were working for him in the Philippines. Now, he was just a manager. He wasn't the boss of the business, but he shared with me his experience, his positive and negative experiences, and that led me to think, well, why don't we have a try too?
I love how that person was able to give you, the positives and the negatives, and, you being able to discern which direction you want to go. And we're happy that you decided to actually try it out here, especially for BSA Solutions. Now, let's talk about the transition, because I know you have 3 offices in Australia. Now, how different is it, or how was the transition managing the businesses with offices this time in Australia and in the Philippines?
I think when we first started, it was challenging, but I think having a few ingredients made it easier. Now, the first is we were one of the first clients. I believe Zana told me that I was I was the second client that BSA had in the history of BSA. So we're very proud to be there from the very beginning. And you're right, at the very beginning, when we're trying something new and BSA is really trying to work with us, the BSA that I was dealing with at that point in time is very different to the organization that we see today. And the experience that my staff have, the experience that I have is also significantly better than what resources were available at that point in time. And that's just the nature of things, you get more experience, you grow and you improve. But what I think actually really helped me was COVID.
Oh, okay.
Because of COVID-19, all of our staff had to work from home. Now, I'm not sure
Right.
if you were aware, but Australia, particularly Melbourne, is the country in the world which had the most lockdowns.
I was hearing about it all over the news. I was watching. And
It's just ridiculous.
It was
We
crazy.
were stuck at home for such a long period of time that we were effectively all remote working anyway. So the kids were at home. All of my staff were at home. Doesn't matter whether you were Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, or the Philippines.
Right.
We all actually function in exactly the same way. So coming out of COVID, I think we learnt a lot. And also we changed the way that we dealt with business as well. And I think you'll find that's one of the opportunities for people like BSA and offshoring in general, because the expectation is that you do work. It doesn't matter so much whether you're sitting right next to the people that you do work with.
Right.
And a lot of organizations have actually restructured and their staff haven't come back permanently. They have been working from home ever after COVID. And there are hybrid arrangements and there's a bit more flexibility on the client side as well. So my own clients, a little bit more flexible. Even the court system is a bit more flexible. So coming out of COVID, we very rarely go into court to have court appearances, which is absolutely amazing. Yes. So a lot of the court appearances are done virtually.
That is, I did not know about that.
No. So that's what I mean by the practices. The business practices have indeed changed. And a lot of clients, and my own clients, are more accommodating if we call a video conference or a virtual meeting, as compared to in the past, they would come into my boardroom or I would go to their boardroom. And it actually improves efficiency on a number of levels because you don't have to travel. It cuts
Correct.
out all of that time which is wasted in going from one location to another. So I think that's also something which a team will consider when they are going through and deciding how they want to manage their staffing.
With the different kinds of setups now, in the work environments that we have, be it law firms, I don't know, or otherwise, it's amazing how COVID made us realize that hey, we can actually work from home.
Yes, and there are other efficiencies with technology as well. So sometimes you'll actually find that having a video meeting is more productive than having a face-to-face meeting. Whilst you don't have the standing around the cooler having a chat, just to get to know each other type of conversations, what you gain from that is technology allows you to share screen, to share information, to send through materials in a way that you wouldn't be able to do if you were speaking to someone face-to-face. So I think it comes down to how you adapt and grow.
There you go. Adapting is everything, especially in this day and age. Let's talk about your visit here in Cebu, Philippines. How long have you been here? How many days has it been?
So today is my fourth day.
Your fourth day.
My fourth day in Cebu. It is my very first time. I've come to Cebu specifically to visit my team. So I have a team with the BSA.
Right.
And I have been talking with the girls in my team for years and I haven't met them before. So it was a real experience for me to see these people face to face who I have been working with day in, day out for the very first time. We have done some social activities. We've got to know each other very well. We have also done some work together. So we've had some team building activities as well as good meetings where we can collaborate and talk about things that you do need to be face to face to talk about.
Right. Now, you've been here the past 4 days. Let's talk about the facilities here at BSA and the personnel. Is it at par with the current setup in the office in Australia?
Absolutely. In fact, I'm quite jealous of some of the facilities that you've got here. The air conditioning is fantastic. We've got such a warm, vibrant environment. A lot of the times when I'm looking at the team, all I really get to see is that little square panel, which is projected behind their webcam. And you've got filters, you've got just a little glimpse of what the outside world would be like. In my mind, I was imagining a call center.
So you were thinking like it's going to be like a bunch of
floor of 1,000 people in cubicles, and that's what I saw on the other side of my screen.
Right.
So what I imagined it would be like, one of those sweatshops where there would be people just lined up row upon row, but it's nothing like that. So when I came here, I realized that the people are really friendly, and apart from my staff, I also didn't realize that there are so many facilities and so many support mechanisms in place for my staff to make sure that they're comfortable Because ultimately, if your staff are happy and comfortable in the working environment, they're more likely to stay on in the long term.
And of course, productivity is going to be on the up and up, especially when everything's provided for them. If they're comfortable, if they're in their own desks, and what have you.
Absolutely, absolutely. And look, I think that also comes down to the team bonding as well. If everybody is happy to be working and if there is support for them, then yeah, absolutely. I expect productivity and just overall enjoyment of the work to be very high up there.
Perfect.
They have this wonderful facility, which I must talk about, and I've heard my girls talk about it over the years. I've now also seen it for myself. It's called the pantry. So if you ever come to Cebu, I encourage you to come and check out their pantry. I expected literally a pantry. It's nothing like that. It's an entire room, and they have so many chairs. It's like a canteen at the same time with like your local tuck shop, and there's a reading nook. There's lots and lots of training that's also done in there, so group training. It's fantastic.
It's basically like a Lego box, so where you can just like shape and mold it to however you want to have it. Like on a day or at noontime, everyone can just eat, but in the afternoon we can have like workshops here. They would have a Tabata class here. It's amazing. Yeah, you can.
Fantastic. I'm told that they also watch movies on a monthly basis. Movie night. That's fantastic. And apparently also on some months there are activities, social activities. They go rock climbing, they go mountaineering, they do lots of things like that.
A lot of events. You have to check out the socials too.
Well, I can't wait to be invited to some of these lovely events.
Yeah. So Jenny, let's talk about things overall. Would you say offshoring the business has helped your company, grow and expand?
I think it's helped us to focus on things that we are good at. So my lawyers are still all fully located in Australia. They need training, they need education, they need to understand the environment that they're practicing. And I don't think that's a core aspect that we could ever take offshore. However, having said that, the administration is something which I found to be very helpful. So rather than having the administrators located physically in Australia, I think it is entirely possible to have them located offshore. My lawyers are happy because they've got a person instead of having one person who's servicing lots of different lawyers. I can now have the resources to dedicate people. They're managing their time, they're managing their administration, they're managing the tedious tasks that the lawyers don't want to do, and also making sure that all the housekeeping is done in time. So I think overall it's a positive experience for us. I mean, in any organization and in any set of circumstances, there's issues that you need to deal with on a day-to-day basis, but I don't think that's specific to being offshore. It's just the nature of human resources.
But that's, I guess the beauty of it is that your lawyers are now able to focus on their own tasks at hand without having like one admin serve like
multiple people.
Yes. Since you have that one-on-one link with a person here offshore, you're given the assurance and that the tasks given to these admin people, they're serviced well.
Absolutely.
And they're able to focus on the job too.
Yes, absolutely. And of course, being in the Philippines, being offshore, it's more affordable. But I don't think it's just that. I think the Filipino people are very service-based. It's in the culture. And I
agree.
think that's something which is really important to me, because a lot of the administrative people who we would have worked with in Australia, they don't necessarily have that service in mind. They're often people who would be choosing between retail or working in an office. And so the attention to detail, the care, dedication and so forth could be lacking. And there's obviously very good people who do customer service and administration as well. But with the team that I've handpicked, and I've been very involved in the way that I've selected staff and trained staff, even here in the Philippines, I think that's the key to the relationship. If you don't invest time in your staff, in your team, then there isn't that relationship. It doesn't matter whether it's in Australia or whether it's in the Philippines. You get what you put in.
There you go. Now, last question, Jenny. I know you're a very, very busy person. Let's talk about some of the advices you can give to other business owners who are looking into offshoring. Some of them maybe are a little hesitant to do it, but then how would you what would you say to them to get them to try offshoring here?
Absolutely. So look, I think there's a couple of things which is helpful in the Philippines, and that's why I decided to stay in the Philippines. The first thing is the language. So if the Filipino people speak English, there may be an accent, but there are different people with different skills. And some of the people in my team, they actually speak really, really well, so much that I think they could be American. They may not necessarily be Australian, but English is their native language. It's not as if we're talking with some other countries where English may be still very foreign to them. So I think language is good. Filipino staff have a very good work ethic. So typically I have found that if you give a task to someone or you train them and you teach them what to do, you can expect that they will follow and they will do what they're needing to do. Now, the BSA support team that have been put in place have checks and balances. I see that from the security going in to the computer monitors and the software monitors. You don't need to worry about whether your staff are doing work or dwindling off into the sunset because there are checks and balances in place.
There you go. So, yes, thank you so much, Jenny, of course, for giving us your time. And this has been Let's Talk Offshoring right here at BSA Solutions. We'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.